Recessed lights are very popular because they provide consistent lighting across an entire room. The fixtures are flush with the ceiling, so they can make many spaces feel bigger. On a level ceiling, the installation is straightforward. But if the lights will be installed on a sloped ceiling, it can be a little trickier. You'll need to select a special fixture that's angled so it will shine the light straight down. And because most slope ceilings are on the exterior of your house, these special fixtures are airtight. This will help keep the conditioned air in your room, making it more comfortable and energy efficient. Before you begin, get a ladder that allows you to reach the ceiling safely and place a drop cloth on the floor to catch any debris. To select the right fixtures, you'll need to measure the slope, or pitch, of your ceiling. One way to measure the slope is to place one end of a 2-foot level against the ceiling and hold it level. Measure the height in inches from the other end of the level to the ceiling. Then, since you're using a 2-foot level, divide the height by 2 to get the slope of the ceiling. For example, if the height is 8 inches, then the pitch of the ceiling is 4, which is sometimes referred to as 4/12. Of course, the easiest way to determine the slope is to use a digital angle gauge. These are inexpensive, easy to use, and accurate. Once you know the slope, make sure to purchase recessed lights that are appropriate for your ceiling pitch. Begin the installation by marking the location of the center of the first fixture, making sure to avoid roof rafters or ceiling joists. Mark the location for the other fixtures in a straight line by using a laser level. If you don't have a laser, you can use a string line. Before cutting the holes, turn off the power to any existing light fixtures and check for any possible obstructions in the ceiling, like wires, pipes, or wood. To do this, just poke a hole in the ceiling, insert a bent wire, and twirl it around to make sure there's nothing in the way. If the light fixture you selected requires a circular hole, you can make the cut with a hole saw, like this. But some recessed lights that are designed for sloped ceilings require an elliptical hole instead of a circle. If your light fixture requires an elliptical hole, well, use the template that came with the light to mark the outside of each hole. You may need to use several tools to make the cut. Start with a jab saw or a drywall saw. If it becomes difficult, you may also want to use an oscillating saw or a utility knife. Make sure you wear safety glasses and gloves to remove any insulation or other debris. The next step is to install the wiring. Use fish tape to make sure that you can run the wires to each hole. If you can't push the fish tape between the holes, you may need to drill through the rafters or joists with a long drill bit. For this installation, we ran power from existing ceiling lights to the hole for the first new fixture. We then ran cable between the holes, leaving about 16 inches of extra cable at each fixture. To wire the fixtures, open the junction box and run the cable through it. Clamp the cable and strip the insulation on the end of the black and white conductors. Using wire nuts or the connectors provided with the fixture, connect white to white, black to black, and ground to ground. Fold the wires into the box and replace the cover. To install each fixture, pull the mounting clips inward so they don't stick outside the housing. Slip the housing into the hole and push the body up until it's flush with the ceiling. Then push each clip up and outward until it clamps the light fixture tight against the ceiling. Install the trim kit to the lighting fixture and add the appropriate bulb according to the manufacturer's instruction. You can now turn the power back on and enjoy your new lights. Recessed lights like this are sometimes called cans because they have a big metal housing that goes up into the ceiling. Some newer LED fixtures are much smaller. The fixture has a bulb that can pivot to accommodate many different ceiling slopes. You still need to cut a hole and wire them just like any recessed light, but because they're smaller and lighter, they can make the installation a little easier, especially on a sloped ceiling.